What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Friday, June 21st, 2024. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Well, it's Friday. I hope everybody had a great week, and it is a full moon Friday, and that full moon is in Capricorn. So, definitely a lot to talk about for today's horoscope. Hope everybody had a great week. And I hope this full moon doesn't, throw a good week away in some ways. Heightened emotion. It's a detriment full moon. It is not where the moon wants to be full. And guess what? We get two of them. So next month, we will see a full moon at the end of Capricorn, right? They call that a blue moon. So this is the first of two in Capricorn. And I mean, I gotta tell you, we're making big T squares over to Neptune. Remember, we started off this lunation with a new moon in Gemini that was squaring Saturn. And then now we're coming up to a full moon that's making a huge T square to Neptune. Now, I've been talking so much about Neptune over the last week and the weirdness and the delusions and the right when you think you're going to get something, oh, maybe it's real, maybe it's not. It's just hard to know what's actually a mirage and what's real right now. And this full moon's heightening that, and it's extremely sensitive. And it's really hard on self. I hope everybody had a great solstice, and I hope everybody's feeling good coming into this Friday because there's a lot of potential for extreme sensitivity and extreme harshness towards oneself, and almost like a big martyr sort of energy could take over if we let it. So that's where we got to realize that those stories that we say that, oh, we can't get to our goals, we can't accomplish this, we can't do that, we'll never make it to this, thing that we want to get to, this the top of a totem pole in our life, the top of just anything. Definitely, if we're having those feelings, those things, like, that's what we want to release. This is like embrace magic, and magic isn't about certainty. Certainty is much too masculine, and there's nothing masculine about this new moon except for a Chiron in Aries and a North Node in Aries. Like, that's your masculine energy. Like, okay, we got Jupiter in Gemini, which is air and masculine as well, but this is a very, very feminine new moon. And it's not about the certainty. It's not about knowing how everything's going to look. It's about your faith, your intuition, your belief. It's about the sensitive things. It's about feeling. It's about treating yourself well. We're in Cancer season now. We got to take care of ourselves, nurture ourselves from the ground up here. And I think we can't be so hard on ourselves about the time it takes. Remember, Capricorn, Saturn deals with time. So, like, the time it takes to get something done, like, timing is such an interesting thing. And astrology proves it all the time that sometimes the timing just isn't right at a certain time, but that doesn't mean that it can't show up when the timing's right. And you usually get big transits to your chart when the timing's right. So this is definitely like getting out of the sensitivity of not making it somewhere to some final destination, having some legacy built now, and being so hard on ourselves that we feel like we got to work overtime, we got to, double down, make things so hard. Like, we don't. We don't. We got to get out of that. Like, it's almost like release the whole timing situation of, like, I need to do this by a certain date. I need to do this. This has to be accomplished by this date. I get it. We have deadlines for certain things in life, but I think when it comes to life goals, big things in your personal life right now, it's really important to get back to, like, things will happen when they're meant to, as long as you stay one foot in front of the other and just keep moving and just keep feeling good about what you're doing. It's almost like, too, if you don't feel good about something you're trying to do and it's somehow connected to your goals or some mission you've, decided to put in play for yourself, is it worth your effort? Is it worth your emotion? Is it worth the time it takes to put into it? So it's a big, sensitive full moon that we get two of, but this one's, at least the next one will be sextile Neptune, where this one just isn't. It's harsh. It's almost like feeling very, very not, not where you want to be almost. It's like feeling like you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, but you're not. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. And we don't want to be so hard on ourselves, play the victim, play the martyr, or let sensitivities from things take us into a place of feeling inadequate, lack. We got to really if we're maturing anything with this moon in Capricorn, it's maturing this Cancer energy of the self-nurturing, the really feeling comfortable within oneself, being able to lead with your emotion and make big decisions too from an emotional place, from an intuitive place, and not so much from this, mental place. Even Mercury is in Cancer. Like, let's trust our gut right now. Let's make decisions based on what's really going on inside instead of an outside perception of something, instead of a just a straight up, linear factor. Like what's the actual feeling, and what is that trigger in your mind that needs to be done, acted upon, brought up, communicated? Because that's one of the great spots with this full moon is Mercury and Mars are in their sextile exact today. And Venus is getting ready to sextile Mars. And it's a weak Mars, but Mars can do a lot for us here in Taurus when it comes to, again, taking care of ourselves, but really knowing what's good, knowing what's potent, knowing what's going to have staying power, what's going to provide the ultimate value into the future here. It's all going to come internally. So, like a lot of goals or accolades that we have that are based on a societal standard of Capricorn are not actually what's most important for your own growth. Now, yes, these things are important. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, we all got to make money to get by in this world, to some degree. But, I mean, we got to, definitely check our values right now and make sure that they're coming from something deep, that the mission or the legacy is derived from a deep understanding of yourself and what makes you go internally, what makes you feel good and supported by yourself and by the universe. And I think Neptune can provide extreme, like, spiritual presence for this time because it can be a very synchronistic new moon. I mean, this can really say, yes, you're definitely on the right path, and the time you're putting into things is 100% in alignment with your inner core, with your soul, with how you're feeling, with what's right for you, to support yourself, to support others. And then it can also be a really big check because the sensitivities, if it's harsh, are like, well, what am I really doing? And then we're asking these crazy questions, and then we're slipping further away at the same time. So we don't necessarily want to ask too many questions because that comes back to this linear side of things. When right now it's a great opportunity to release the linear that society has put us in and get into the much more mature feminine ability to feel and to be like, yes, I know deep in my core that this is what I'm doing and I'm good with it. And I don't care how long it takes because I know it's worth the time. And I know that I just have it. Like, I know I have it and I know it's worth it. These are things that people are going to feel so good in, and that it can be beautiful on a day like this because Neptune can provide such a beautiful gloss to anything sometimes, but it can also be like, feeling like we're drunk in some ways. And, when you look, I used to drink. I haven't drank since 2019, but I remember like it would all start off fine. And then after a few drinks, all of a sudden, the sensitivities, the certain, all of a sudden you're having these either I love you so much, all this emotional spew, or it goes the other way where it gets a little darker, right? So there's a little bit of that sort of drunk energy where we don't necessarily know what today is going to offer up, whether it's going to be, oh, I love this so much, or, we're throwing fists, right? And I wouldn't say that there's like a ton of fighting energy in the astrology, so maybe that's not the best analogy because I don't necessarily, I feel like it's throwing the fist at ourselves. I mean, this is like taking punches, to hit ourselves where it hurts, more so than I think it deals with anybody else. Now, the South Node's still in Libra, so I would say that definitely people in relationships could, still be playing a heavy factor always right now. It just is what it is. We're also seeing Juno and Lilith up there in Virgo, and I'll be honest, like having those two together is a little nitpicky when it comes to the relationships and like wanting things to be a certain way. And even again, like just Black Moon Lilith in Virgo right now is definitely adding to the really critical of oneself, really hard on oneself. because maybe not hitting some timeline that we had put out there about where we should be right now. That's, our ego saying this is what we think it should be. That doesn't mean that it's actually the universal timing and the universal fate for you to be at a certain place right now. And that doesn't mean you won't get to the place you want to be. And that doesn't mean you haven't surpassed the place you want to be either. But instead of picking, you know, yourself and others apart with a fine-tooth comb, drop that and get back to the pure spiritual essence of life and feel how good it can feel when you just feel good about yourself and say, you know what, I might not be at the top of society. Maybe you are. I hope you are. Whatever. But I'm still good. I'm solid. I'm pure. I know myself. I know my spirit. I know my soul. And I know I'm doing the best I can right now. Because in essence, this is saying it's all about you and how you're doing in your personal life. And are you doing the best you can to better yourself? And if you're doing the best you can to better yourself, you're gonna win long term. But it's yourself. It has nothing to do with all the Capricorn things, the structures, the rules, the hierarchies. Those are just going to be intense and they're going to feel heavy and they're going to take you out of the comfort that you could just find in yourself. So I wouldn't worry too much about the world today. I wouldn't worry too much about what's going on or job promotion or this or that. There's plenty of other time to worry about that will feel much less heavy and much less intense and, much more real at the same time. Today, focus on the things that make you feel good. It's officially summertime. This full moon's like, hey, why don't you enjoy some personal time? Why don't you enjoy yourself? Why don't you enjoy acting on your gut impulses? And why don't you keep doing the things that you understand are good and valuable for you? And I mean, that's all that really has to be worked on. I mean, it's really the truth. The rest is a big mirage that's just trying to poke at sensitivities, that's just trying to say, nah, you're not good enough. You're not up to the standard. You're not up to the level. Who cares? What level? Nobody made these rules are fake. So, no more comparisons and contrasts. We're not keeping up with the Kardashians for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not keeping up with the Joneses or the Smiths. Who cares if your neighbor has a better lawn than you? Stop worrying and comparing yourself to other things that have nothing to do with your soul, with who you are, with your comfort and security within yourself. Not worth it, not going to get you anywhere. And this full moon can feel like you are on the right side of time and on the right side of everything that's important, as long as you're willing to say, forget all that other stuff. What can I do to make my day better? What can I do to feel better? Act on things in a way that makes me feel comfortable because I know that it's authentic and it's me and it's what I need to be doing. When you step up to the plate for the things that you need to be doing and you get real personal about your life, it's going to feel like a great day. But to keep up with whatever's going on in the world, good luck. Probably going to feel like a weird dream and you're just going to keep grabbing for that thing that you think is the trophy and you're not going to get anything but air. So, don't even reach for anything today. I'm telling you, like it's not even a day with a full moon in its detriment position of Capricorn to be reaching for some huge thing right now. Take the little wins, take everything in the day that just feels good to you. Find your comfort, find your cozy place, your happy place, and just keep moving forward with that stuff. The rest of the stuff's going to work itself in. But the intensity and the falseness of trying to play some game or win some silly prize is just going to, it's just a false, it's just, this full moon's just going to show you how false it was. So I hope nobody falls for that. Reach for the stuff that you know is in your personal space that you know you can grab and it feels good. Reach for those by all means. Hit those achievements, hit those gains in life. But just don't do it. Just don't do it for anything other than that, you know? That's all I got to say. So I hope everybody has a great Friday. I hope you had a great week. And I hope you have a great full moon. The first of two in Capricorn. Woo-woo. Card for the day is the Hermit Reverse. I mean, it kind of feels to me like this is like saying we need to stay in our lane, but it also is kind of saying like you don't want to shy away from things. I think the moon in Capricorn wants to get things done still, and like we want to be moving through life, but not on anybody's terms, but what's really going on inside. And I think having the maturity, because this is a very mature card, the Hermit, of course. Definitely being really easy on self. I think just it's also remembering to be mature and to not lose it over something that again, it's like it's not even that big of a deal personally. It's more of like I need to get mad about something, or I need to be upset, or I need to worry about something that is going on in the news, or that's going on, or it's just some societal sort of standard of like, if this happens, I have to be upset. That's just the rules. It's like, well, maybe you do, but have you really checked in with yourself? Just check in with yourself. I feel like it's a check in with yourself type energy getting that. Ace of Swords in reverse. This one's actually, because the Ace of Swords in this card is in the stump, this one's actually pointing up. So I kind of like that, getting it reversed. It kind of feels like we still need to have our wits about. We still want to pay attention. But we also need to make sure it's coming from the core and that it's going into something that it feels good about penetrating, and that I think that we have understanding and that we're ready to commit to things. I think if we want to do things, it's like, do we have a good emotional core understanding? Do we want to commit to things? And it's almost like, what are the reasons for committing? Is it's ace, it's singular. Again, I feel like commit to everything that feels singular to something that feels good to you. Things that you feel like we commit to things all the time that we feel like we have to for whatever reason. Try not to do that today and try to do it for yourself. Okay? I love you all. I hope you have a beautiful full moon, beautiful Friday, and I'll see you all for the weekend forecast tomorrow. Much love. Peace.